60 to 80% of what you pay for a typical prescription hearing aid does not go to the microphone, the chip, or the software. It goes to a commission structure that has protected itself from scrutiny for 3 decades. That gap is not a secret. It is an industry design. Today we rank 10 hearing aid brands, 7 whose price is built on licensing fees, audiologist commissions, premium packaging, and holding company strategy. And 3 where your money actually goes to the device, the technology, and the demonstrated performance. Starting at number 10 with a brand whose corporate structure tells a very different story from its clinic price. Number 10, Miracle Ear sets the stage for exactly the kind of markup this ranking was built to expose. Their entry-level aids retail in the range of $2,000 to $3,000 per device, with flagship pairs frequently quoted at $6,000 to $8,000 at the point of sale. Miracle Ear operates under Amplifon SPA, the Milan-based hearing retail group that also controls a network of over 2,000 clinics across the United States under multiple brand identities. Amplifon reported gross margins in the range of 60 to 65% in recent publicly filed annual results. The components inside a Miracle Ear device, sourced from a Tier 1 DSP manufacturer under a licensing arrangement, carry a bill of materials estimated between $200 and $300 per unit at volume. The remainder of the retail price covers Amplifon's franchise retail model, the in-clinic sales process, and a commission structure baked into the audiologist compensation. The mechanism here is straightforward. A franchise retail model where the audiologist functions as a salaried or commissioned sales role, not an independent clinical evaluator. The device you receive is priced not for what it does, but for the overhead of the room you bought it in. Verdict: you are not buying a hearing aid, you are buying a franchise appointment. Miracle Ear has a pronounced markup, but among prescription tier brands sold through proprietary clinic networks, this is only the beginning. Number 9. Beltone takes the markup dynamic further with a model that layers distributor fees on top of the clinic commission. Beltone aids retail from approximately $2,500 to $7,000 per pair, depending on the technology tier presented in the appointment. Beltone operates under GN Store Nord, the Copenhagen-based group that also owns GN Audio and the Jabra brand. GN Store Nord's hearing division reported operating margins that consistently exceed 30% at the corporate level. Beltone's in-clinic distribution relies on a network of independently owned Beltone-affiliated practices, each paying licensing and branding fees to GN to carry the Beltone name. A significant portion of the component stack inside Beltone's mid-tier aids uses the same DSP architecture found in GN's Jabra Enhanced line, which retails in the OTC tier at $300 to $400 per pair. Following the FDA OTC hearing aid rule of August 2022, the mechanism, a licensing fee structure paid by the independent clinic owner to GN, which is ultimately passed through to the consumer at the point of quote. The technology does not change. The intermediary chain does. For the consumer, the premium is paid for the Beltone brand affiliation and clinic exclusivity, not for a materially different device. The next brand pushes this exact logic one step further. Number 8. Signia doubles down on the premium brand illusion with a positioning strategy that explicitly targets the consumer's fear of visible hearing aids as a medical device. Signia aids retail from around $2,000 to $8,000 per pair at the premium end of their Stiletto and IX series. Signia is a brand under WS Audiology, formed by the 2019 merger of Sivantos and Widex, a deal valued at a reported 2.5 billion euros. WS Audiology is jointly held by EQT Partners and the founding families of the former Widex group. Signia and Widex share manufacturing infrastructure and a significant amount of firmware development, yet the brands are positioned at different price points within the same parent company's portfolio. Signia's integrated experience platform features a chip that also appears in reformulated form in Rexton branded aids, another WS Audiology label sold at lower price points through different retail channels. The mechanism: a holding strategy where two distinct brand identities, Signia and Rexton, sit on comparable technology but carry materially different price tags depending on the channel through which they are sold. The chip is not meaningfully different. The branding cost is... Verdict: the premium here is paid for the brand tier, not the technology tier. Number 7. Eargo extends this story into a different structural problem. A direct-to-consumer prescription model that removed the audiologist but retained prescription-level pricing for longer than its technology justified. Eargo's Series 7 and Series 8 devices have retailed in the range of $2,500 to $3,000 per pair. Eargo operates as a standalone publicly traded company. And its history includes a documented federal investigation concluded in 2021 inches, which the company agreed to pay a reported $63 million settlement related to insurance billing practices, according to publicly available Department of Justice filings. Eargo's devices use a proprietary in-canal design with Bluetooth low-energy connectivity and rechargeable batteries. Independent frequency response measurements published by Hearing Tracker have placed Eargo's amplification profile in a moderate gain range suitable for mild to moderate hearing loss, which overlaps substantially with what FDA-cleared OTC devices now offer at half the price. The mechanism? A wholesale and retail markup structure that survived in the prescription tier through insurance billing leverage, not through technology differentiation. The FDA OTC rule of August 2022 exposed this gap precisely. For the consumer, you are paying prescription prices for a device that now has direct OTC equivalents at $1,200 to $1,500 per pair. Number 6. Phonak represents the most egregious example of conglomerate pricing strategy in this ranking. Phonak aids retail from approximately $2,500 per device to over $4,000 at the top of the Lumity and Audio Infinio lines, with fitted pairs regularly quoted at $5,000 to $9,000 in clinic. Phonak operates under Sonova Holding AG, the Staffa, Switzerland-based group that holds the single largest share of the global hearing aid market and also owns Unitron, Audio Nova, and the Connect Hearing Clinic network. Sonova reported a gross margin above 60% in its most recent fiscal year filings. Phonak's Marvel and Lumity platforms are built around proprietary AutoSense OS and SWORD chip architecture, which Sonova licenses down to Unitron at a different retail price point, targeting the budget-conscious clinic segment. Sonova's annual report identifies approximately 11 to 13% of revenue allocated to research and development. The balance of the margin structure is absorbed by sales infrastructure, audiologist incentive programs, and brand positioning spend. The mechanism is holding strategy at its most complete form. Sonova controls the premium brand, the mid-tier brand, the retail clinic network, and the supply chain simultaneously. The consumer who believes they are choosing between independent options is, in several clinic scenarios, choosing between two products from the same Zurich holding company. And if you think that is the most complete picture of conglomerate control in this ranking, wait until the next brand shows you what the commission structure looks like from the inside of the largest hearing aid retail operation in the United States. Before we continue, you need 4 tests. 4 things you can verify before you hand over a check to any clinic. First, check the FDA designation. If the device is not labeled as an FDA-cleared OTC hearing aid, it operates in the prescription tier. That means you are paying for the audiologist's role in the transaction, not just the device. The FDA OTC hearing aid rule took effect in August 2022. Any brand that refuses to clearly state which tier it operates in is making that choice deliberately. Second, ask for the chip specification sheet. The DSP architecture inside hearing aids is not proprietary to the brand name on the box in most cases. Phonak, Widex, and Oticon chips appear under license inside private label and lower cost alternatives. If the clinic cannot produce a component specification, ask why. Third, identify the holding company. Sonova, Demont, GN Store Nord, and WS Audiology together control approximately 80% of the global prescription hearing aid market. A brand presented to you as a boutique clinic exclusive is almost certainly a label owned by one of these 4 groups. The parent company is publicly disclosed in regulatory filings and takes under 30 seconds to verify. Fourth, ask the total cost of ownership at 5 years. A pair quoted at $6,000 that requires annual reprogramming at $200 per session and replacement batteries or parts adds 15 to 20% to the initial cost over that window. The OTC tier devices with app-based self-fitting eliminate the majority of that recurring cost by design. Every model on this channel goes through these same 4 tests. No deals with manufacturers. No clinic partnerships. If that's the kind of information you wish someone gave your parents before they walked into the audiologist, you already know what to do. Number 5. Miracle Ear's parent Amplifon also operates the Hear USA network in the United States, but the brand that closes the villain's half of this ranking is Miracle Ear's direct competitor in the franchise clinic model. Beltone's primary chain rival and the single largest hearing aid retail operation by clinic count in the country. That brand is Hearing Life, operating under Demant AS, the Copenhagen-based group that also owns Oticon, Bernafon, and the William Demant Foundation holding structure. Hearing Life Clinics quote Audicon aids at retail prices ranging from approximately $2,000 to $8,000 per pair. Demant reported revenue exceeding 17 billion Danish kroner in recent annual filings, with hearing aid margins that analysts have consistently placed above 50% at the corporate level. Audicon's More and Intent platforms carry a published research base, including a real-world study published in a peer-reviewed audiology journal showing measurable speech intelligibility improvements in noise. That research is real. The question is whether you need to pay Audicon's full retail price to access equivalent DSP performance. Demant also owns Philips Hearing Solutions under a licensing agreement with Philips International, selling what are effectively Audicon-adjacent devices under the Philips brand at lower price points through Costco and online channels. The mechanism: a holding strategy where Audicon commands the clinical premium, Philips carries the mid-market, and Hearing Life's clinic network captures the commission on both. One holding company. 2 price points. 1 factory infrastructure. Verdict: the brand split does the pricing work that technology alone cannot justify. Number 4, Costco Kirkland Signature stands out as the first entry in this ranking, where the price actually reflects a transparent supply chain decision rather than a brand premium. Kirkland Signature hearing aids have retailed in the range of $1,400 to $1,700 per pair with professional fitting included. Available exclusively to Costco members. Costco's hearing center model operates on a guaranteed low-margin retail philosophy. The Kirkland Signature KS10 was manufactured under a supply agreement with Phonak, a documented arrangement covered in detail by Hearing Tracker and multiple industry publications. The KS10 carried the same Phonak Marvel platform chip found in Phonak aids, retailing at prices 3 to 4 times higher in clinical settings. The current KS line has continued under comparable private label supply agreements. Costco's hearing center audiologists are salaried employees, not commissioned sales staff, a structural difference that removes the commission incentive from the point of recommendation entirely. The mechanism: private label sourcing that eliminates the brand marketing layer and a salaried staffing model that eliminates the commission layer. The consumer pays for the device and the fitting, not the franchise fee. Here, the value to price alignment is in honest agreement with what the consumer receives. Number 3, Jabra Enhance brings a direct-to-consumer transparency to the OTC tier that few prescription tier brands have matched. The Jabra Enhance Plus and Jabra Enhance Pro lines retail in the range of $300 to $800 per pair, firmly in FDA-cleared OTC territory. Jabra Enhance operates under GN Hearing, the hearing aid division of GN Store Nord, the same parent that owns Beltone. The critical distinction is the channel and pricing model. While Beltone routes the same parent company's technology through commission clinics at prescription prices, Jabra Enhance sells directly through retail and online, removing the clinic commission layer entirely. The Enhance Pro 20 carries a self-fitting application that guides the user through a tone-based audiometric setup calibrated to a target hearing profile. An independent evaluation published by the American Journal of Audiology adjacent research outlets has described the Jabra Enhance self-fitting protocol as producing fittings within clinically acceptable accuracy ranges for mild to moderate high-frequency loss. The mechanism: direct-to-consumer distribution that strips the wholesale and clinic markup from the same parent company's technology stack. The chip is a GN chip. The price is what GN charges without the Beltone channel overhead. For the consumer, you are accessing GN technology at roughly 1/5 of what the Beltone Clinic channel charges for a device with comparable core architecture. Number 2, Lexi Hearing takes a direct approach to the OTC tier that adds a service layer without restoring the clinic markup. Lexi aids, including the Lexi B2 powered by Bose, retail in the range of $800 to $1,000 per pair. Lexi operates under Lexi Hearing Limited, a company with its primary development operations in South Africa under the WS Audiology adjacent investment structure, though Lexi maintains operational independence in product development and distribution. The Lexi B2's most significant commercial detail is the Bose licensing agreement, which gives Lexi access to Bose's proprietary self-fitting technology, protected under a U.S. patent filed in the early 2010s covering psychoacoustic self-fitting methodologies. Bose exited the consumer hearing aid hardware market in 2022, but continued licensing its fitting IP. An 8-week clinical trial published in a peer-reviewed audiology journal demonstrated that users fitted using Bose's self-fitting protocol achieved outcomes statistically comparable to professionally fitted prescription aids for mild to moderate hearing loss. Lexi carries a subscription support model at approximately $8 per month that includes coaching calls and remote adjustments, bringing total annual cost of ownership to approximately $1,100 per year. The mechanism: a patented self-fitting protocol backed by a published clinical trial, sold at OTC price, with a support subscription that costs less per year than a single audiologist reprogramming session at a prescription clinic. Verdict: real technology, a published evidence base, and a price that reflects what you are actually buying. Number 1. The Hearing Insider's top-ranked position belongs to the Sony CRE C10, and it delivers a level of transparency that stands alone in this ranking. The CRE C10 retails at approximately $1,300 to $1,600 per pair. FDA-cleared OTC, available direct through Sony and major retail partners. Sony's entry into hearing aids is not a pivot from consumer electronics for its own sake. The CRE C10 was developed in collaboration with WS Audiology's engineering teams under a formal technology partnership disclosed in product documentation, combining Sony's consumer audio DSP heritage with clinical hearing aid fitting protocols. The device uses Sony's own processing architecture applied to directional microphone input, noise reduction, and frequency band shaping across a range suited to mild to moderate hearing loss. The self-fitting application uses a validated tone-based protocol, and the device is classified as an FDA-cleared OTC hearing aid under the August 2022 rule, meaning it has passed the agency's requirements for safety and labeling without requiring a prescription or audiologist intermediary. The bill of materials at Sony's manufacturing scale, for a company producing consumer audio hardware in tens of millions of units annually, places Sony's component costs in a range that no boutique hearing aid manufacturer can approach, which is why the retail price reflects manufacturing efficiency rather than brand markup. The mechanism: Sony's consumer electronics manufacturing scale combined with a co-developed clinical fitting protocol sold direct without the prescription tier commission structure. There is no licensing fee passed to the consumer, no franchise overhead, no audiologist commission baked into the quote. The price is what the device costs to build and distribute at scale, plus a margin Sony has no structural incentive to hide. Verdict: this is the rare case where price actually reflects the engineering behind the product. Across the 10 brands analyzed, one pattern stands out above the rest. Price in this industry has been historically protected not by technology leadership, but by the distribution structure built around it. Sonova, Demont, GN Store, Nord, and WS Audiology collectively set the terms of a market where the same DSP chip, under different brand licenses, can retail at a 300% markup simply by passing through a commissioned clinic rather than a direct channel. The FDA OTC rule of August 2022 did not create better hearing aids. It removed the structural barrier that kept the cheaper ones invisible. In an industry built on clinical authority and the consumer's reasonable uncertainty about their own hearing loss, knowing who owns the brand on the box and how many hands the price passed through before it reached you is what protects your wallet.